First off, I want to thank Mike Flynn for finally allowing you guys to come back out to a practice, to be out here. I mean, he's been we had to persuade him. And finally, he let you guys back out, so appreciate Mike finally doing that. So it's good to be back out here. Good to see you guys. Appreciate y'all coming out today. Just to be back out here with these guys, with really just taking the work that they've done from January, from the first day back at school, not taking a break, but going right into the weight room with AJ and his guys, being able to come out on the field today and kind of see the culmination of the first really 8 weeks of our process of preparing for the upcoming season. So it's good to be out here, without getting into a lot of hee-haw things that we told the team. Really, there's 4 things we're looking for from the football team that we're going to develop. Really the toughness of the football team, and that's really mental and physical toughness. Without the mental toughness, you can't have physical toughness. So the toughness, the discipline of the football team in all aspects of their lives, not just on the field, but what they're doing off the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, all of those things, the discipline, those are all the things that carry over, to how you play on the field. Then the execution, to be able to take the information we've given them, the installation, whether it be the different plays or defenses or calls, be able to take those things and execute it. And it's no good if 8, 9, 10 people execute. You got to have really all 11 at one time on each side of the ball executing to really have a successful defense, offense, or special teams. So incorporating a lot of special teams into the practice, making that a major emphasis of what we're working on this spring to develop the core fundamentals and techniques involved in that. And then really the final and the fourth thing is the commitment, and to show the commitment that each one of these guys have, number one, to themselves, to make themselves the type of football player they need to be, and then number two, the commitment towards the team. And just like the discipline, the commitment comes with what you do all day, every day, 7 days a week. So, the commitment is, whether it's committed to go to class, committed to do what's right in school, committed to do what's right off the field. All those come back to your commitment towards the team and your commitment to being able to win football games in the fall. So, again, ask you guys to come out one day at a time. No different than playing a game one play at a time. We want to work every day, one day at a time. Worry about today only. Eliminate any fear and anxiety out of these guys moving forward. Worrying about things that, whether they happened in the past or might be happening in the future. We want to eliminate those things and have the guys understand you can only really learn from what happened in the past, and you can prepare for what's going to happen in the future. So there's no reason to worry about either one of them. Let's just do the best we can do every day. So that's our really values and core values of this spring. That's what we're looking to accomplish. And again, appreciate you guys being here. And with that, open up for any questions.
Kelly, if you want to start.
Sure. Obviously, a lot of changes with the staff and some new players as well. Kind of how do you approach how you do installing in the spring, and is it sort of an even day-to-day thing where maybe you push and pull a little bit depending on how they're picking things up?
Yeah, with the different rules now that apply in college football and ability to work and meet with guys, in the off season, it changes a little bit the way you go about the installation, because easily you might say, hey, I want to add a lot in day one or a lot in day two because we've had this opportunity for the last 4 or 5 weeks to be around the guys. But we didn't want to do that. Everything is back to square one. Today we went to the installation meetings. I wanted everybody to go in there as if everyone walked in there for the first time, that it was their first time in there, because that's what this spring is about. It's about developing the core building blocks of a football team. It's about base fundamentals. It's about techniques. It's not really about the plays that we're going to run on offense, or the calls on defense, or the blitzes, or the coverages, or what type of schemes on special teams. It's about basically developing ourselves as good football players and the building blocks that go along with that. And that hadn't changed in 100 years. You have to be able to get your hands inside on both sides of the ball. You have to be able to tackle somebody the right way. You have to be able to take the right pursuit angles. You have to be able to cover kicks with the right angles. You have to be able to protect the right way. Get your hat on the right side in the run game. Right drop by the quarterback. Assignments with the back. So that's what this is about. That's what the spring's about, to become good football players individually, so then collectively on each side of the ball and special teams we have a chance to have a good football team.
Rod.
You have some continuity with the offensive line for the first time in a while. What are your expectations for them this spring?
Same as everything else. Expectations are to be able to come out every day, work their best, do their best. As we know in this game, continuity only lasts so long. To sit there and wish you're going to have it for a whole season, you're pretty lucky if that ends up happening. So, it's good to have returning guys that have some experience, but at the same time, our expectations no different for them than it is anyone else that just came out for the first day. Just to put the work in, just to work every day, understand what they did well, what they didn't do well. Let's correct those things and move on the next day and see if we can build upon it.
Ken.
I'm curious, just for your first spring practice as head coach, how did you decide what to do and where to go? How did it all go?
So Harper's in school right now. She wasn't able to come out and see what she actually planned. But for about the last 6 weeks, me and Harper sat down at night, and with markers and crayons, we decided which way to go. And that's why sometimes it looked like it was all over the place, because that's where she got out of the lines a little bit with her crayons. But no, the real thing is this: the beauty of being able to coach under some very good head coaches in my career and some very successful head coaches in my career. It's funny when you go back and you look at the way that Coach Saban and Coach O'Leary did things, and having been a better part of my entire career being with those guys, they might have called it something different, but really it was the same thing. And the way practice flowed, the way it went, what drill went to the next drill, how it progressed, how you built upon a practice, in a part whole type scenario. Those things hadn't changed regardless. So to have that format and that way to really reference and go back and see, and then take all that information that I had for 20 plus years and be able to build it really the right way into what I felt was the right way for our guys on our team. And then come out, and we had a chance last week to kind of trial run some things. And but at the end of the day, it's what's the best to be able to develop our guys on the team, the players we have, because it's not no year is the same as the year before. So we'll obviously get together as a staff today for a couple hours. We'll watch the practice. We'll talk about things we need to adjust and change, and not wholesale change, but more process oriented within the practice.
Kelly.
You only have 3 quarterbacks on scholarship into the spring. You obviously have some walk-ons as well that are capable of doing things, but just how do you approach that competition with the quarterbacks, and kind of what has been your discussion with them about what your expectations are and what you're looking for the guy that will ultimately be the starter, whether you decide now or in the fall?
Yeah, well, that's a process that will take a while. The beauty of it is, we've got three scholarship quarterbacks out there, but it's hard to rep more than 3 teams anyway. And so it's really a blessing in disguise is the way I look at it. So, they'll be judged in their entire scope of work, but not just 15 days of practice. It's what they've done the last 2 months. It's what they'll do throughout summer, throughout preseason camp. And we went through, and one part of the things we did this off season was we put together our core factors and core things that each position has. And there's really 10 attributes that you look at in every position, not including height, weight, and speed. And the number one thing on every single position is toughness, and it goes for the quarterback as well. So, and when you talk about toughness isn't somebody's going to go get in a fight, and that kind of fake toughness thing that we see all the time. That's not toughness. I mean, toughness is how you run to the football. How you carry out a fake on a boot. What are you doing on the sideline after you just went 6 plays? What are you doing with your teammates? What type of leadership are you showing around those guys? Do you have the ability to sustain? Sustain throughout not just a practice, but an entire spring. So there's a lot of things that are entailed when you start talking about toughness and what toughness is, and the measuring stick for it. So I've said it before. You guys have probably heard me. I'll say it again. Toughness is a skill. It's something that it's not something we're born with. It's a skill. It's something that can be coached. It's something that can be developed, and it's something that's expected by myself through the coaches, and the coaches through the players, that it's something that will be coached every day and something that will be developed throughout this entire spring football.
Maria.
Thank you. Coach, sticking with the quarterbacks for a second, aside from the toughness, what are your expectations for that group throughout the entire spring?
There's such a set of things that really come before it's delivering the football and managing the offense, but the outside of the toughness, the leadership, the ability to rally all the guys around you, and it's not just on the offense, and that's a big thing that we've talked about leading up to spring. Is it's not just offense defense. Okay, we're one team, and we're going to come out and compete every day against each other. All right, but to be able to build a football team, there can't be one side of the ball versus the other side of the ball. And when you're looking at the quarterback position, and you're talking about the position in the National Football League that commands 20% of the salary cap, so it is an important position. Okay, they have to command the respect and be able to lead the entire team. So it's not just individually on their side, but before they can do the entire team, they have to start small, and they have to show the leadership on their side of the ball before they can even think about leading the entire team.
Word for Coach. Ken.
Can you go over a little bit your running back group? Obviously, I have Dante back, but some new pieces as well.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anybody going through it, but you've got Tay. Obviously, Jamie got some valuable reps last year that he can learn from, good and bad. To have him out there with some experience, game experience, bringing Trey in, I think is a big addition. We moved Caleb over towards the end of last year. More of a bigger back there, and then lucky to have guys come in to help us. So I mean, there's 7 or 8 guys in there right now that can provide reps out there. But then you're looking at who's going to separate themselves, and who's going to separate themselves from a standpoint of being able to, number one, hold on to the football. All right, that's what's important. We can go through what the traits of a great running back are, but at the end of the day, can you trust that guy when he's on the field to be able to hold on to the football and do what you need him to do?
Miles.
Coach talked a lot about toughness. How would you say that, I know you say today spring practice is where the toughness is developed, but how would you say that the toughness of this team has improved maybe from the end of last season going into this spring? Have you noticed that, just seeing the end of the year to spring practice now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the way you use whatever measuring sticks you have, as far as what to gauge things on, and yeah, improvement's one thing, but we're looking at we're not trying to put a ceiling on anything either. This isn't something that we're going to say, hey, we've made it, we're there. Toughness is something that can always be coached and always be evolving and always be improved on. And are we better from when they started in the weight room back in January? Yeah, I think we've showed major improvements. Just the way we've been able to sustain off-season workouts, being able to go through the off-season workouts and being able to provide leadership and support for the other side, someone on the other side of the ball that might be falling behind or might want to bend over. Those are all different things that are you look at when you're measuring that. But we got a long way to go. And that's why we're blessed to be able to have 15 days of spring and be able to have a summer, leading up to preseason camp and then preseason camp. But when you look at what is your team and who your team is, from those different from whether it be a toughness or discipline or execution or how you bring things together. I mean, no one knows. I mean, we hadn't put pads on. We're out there running around in underwear today, just trying to get installation in. So. I told the team this morning, I said, I don't want to hear people talk about playing to our standard because we don't have a standard. All right, we don't have a standard yet. Their job is to go out and create that standard. All right, so I don't want to hear cheesy coach talk right now unless you really understand what it means. And to go play to a standard, well, there is none. This is a new football team. We have to go out and create that standard, all right, over the next 15 practices, over the summer and over preseason camp. Hopefully by the time September 1st comes around, we can say, okay, this is our standard. This is how we do things. This is how we play the game.
Maria.
What does Buster Faulkner bring to your staff?
To be his age, he's got a good set of hair. He hasn't lost any hair yet, like myself. I mean, so probably he's a wealth of football knowledge. But there's a lot of people that possess knowledge of the game, and when we went through the process of interviewing people, and and it was a lot of people we had a chance to sit down and talk to and talk with, and it was looking for the right fit, the right mesh, someone that fit in to nothing X and O wise to begin with, but just fit into to this program, someone that understood what Georgia Tech was. Having grown up here in Gwinnett County, having been around it, I mean, gosh, Buster, I actually knew Buster in college, so he'd been exposed a little bit to what Georgia Tech is, and he went to high school with a couple of the teammates I played with back many years ago. So, but to be able to bring those things and the knowledge of what this place the history of this place and what this place can be. I think that was important. The command that he has, the command he has of just individual positions, but the entire offense, and the ability to go back and forth, offense, defense, and be able to impact those players, and then be able to coach the coaches. And that's what you look for, is a guy that has a belief, has a system, knows what he believes in, but also understands that regardless of what that system is, we got to make sure that system fits to our current players.
Time for a couple more for Coach. Rod.
You've added quite a few transfers to the program, and you talked about looking for guys that are a good fit. How has the chemistry been with those guys so far?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we'll be able to tell as practice goes along. We asked leadership last week, sat down with leadership, and talked about where the chemistry is in the team, and every one of them said, "Coach, we don't know. I mean, we haven't put pads on yet." That's where you really start to tell what type of team you have. So, are they good kids? Yeah. Do they fit in? Yeah. They fit in the locker room. Have they worked hard? Yeah. But we really won't know those things until we really start to separate it out and say, okay, who does have that mental toughness to sustain, and that's where you start to earn the respect of your teammates and build that chemistry.
On the defensive side of the ball, you lost 3 of your 4 biggest playmakers to graduation NFL. Just what are you seeing from the guys trying to replace them? What are you seeing from your transfer linebackers as well that you brought in to try to give you some experience there?
It's you see what they do in the offseason again, but there's nothing really football on the field wise there, so it's tough to tell. Hopefully in a couple weeks I'll be able to give a little better explanation of where they're at. But right now, you just see kind of what their intangibles are through workouts, and you see what their measurables are, through height, weight, speed, those things. So, how they get out there and they play together, play alongside each other, and that's what makes college football great. That's what you hope for, is that guys that leave your team have an opportunity to graduate and make themselves better when they leave, or they have the opportunity to go on and play in the National Football League. So that's where you're at a good place in a great school where they can have that opportunity to, if they're not going on to the NFL. If they're not going on to the NFL, they have an opportunity to go create a better life for themselves, and that's what we want as coaches, and especially here at Georgia Tech.
All right. Anything else? Okay.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right, go Jackets.